Yo, what's going on, guys? It's JD back with another quick video. Today I'm out here in San Francisco, California with my boy G. If you guys haven't seen him on my channel before, he's got his own channel called Success Chasing Series. And he's also got a channel called Run 59. So while you guys are at it, go take a look in the description box. I'm gonna have both of the links to those videos. But before you go subscribe to his channel, we want to chop it up today. And me and G actually just got finished getting a workout in at this new gym that he just joined called Live Fit out here in San Francisco. Pretty dope little facility. Yeah. And personally, I like to go to smaller gyms who have the type of equipment I want, that have the type of space that I want. But really what I wanted to chop it up with G about today is just the fact that, and this is actually something I probably haven't even told you, part of my brand name shift to hybrid athlete was kind of inspired by you in a lot of ways, just because G got me back into running. You know what I mean? So I just started back into my endurance running journey maybe about like 6-7 months ago. And recently, like about a month ago, I hit a half a marathon. But it kind of sparked this idea in me to have more of a hybridized style of workouts because, you know, as you've seen, G, I've been focused on calisthenics pretty much for the past, I don't know, 5-6 years. Yeah. And now I'm starting to kind of shift into playing around with other different movements. And we got a hybrid workout in today. How did you feel about it?
To me, the workout was great. It was actually a lot of exercises that I hadn't done in a long time. We did some plyo. We touched the weights a little bit. We did weighted calisthenics. Yeah. We also did just regular calisthenics also. So for me, it was great. Like, you know what I mean? I got to use some muscles I probably hadn't used in a long time. Some movements I definitely haven't done in a while. So I think it was good. I'm curious to see how I'm gonna feel in the morning. I think I'm gonna be a little sore from the deadlifts, but all in all, I could see how a lot of those exercises might even help me with running. And you know, I had stayed away from weightlifting for a while because I've been doing the running a lot, but some of the stuff we did actually wasn't all that heavy, you know. I think it was perfect, really.
I think what it all ties into is basically the style of hybrid training that I'm running with right now is more functional.
Yeah.
And I remember you were saying that earlier, that you're looking for more of a functional workout. So
right.
If you guys are out there and you guys are looking for more of a functional style of training, hit up my website, hybridathlete.io. You guys can book a free consultation with me. You guys can also sign up for one of my training programs. I do custom programs. I also do monthly online coaching service as well. But I also wanted to kind of pivot into some other stuff, G. And man, first off, I want to tell you that I'm super proud of you in a hell of different ways. If you guys don't know, like, I've been knowing G probably for 22 years. Yeah. Since we was about 15, 16 years old. And me and G come from the same area, East Bay, Richmond area. And, you know, G's leveled up his life in so many different ways. And really more so just in the past 3 years, I would say, than any other time.
Yeah.
And G's story is pretty interesting because, what, 3-4 years ago you were locked up?
Yeah, actually, June 1st basically will mark 4 years out of prison.
So G's been out of prison for like 4 years.
Almost 4.
Yeah, for about 4 years. Yeah. And for somebody who's been out of prison for 4 years, you made a tremendous amount of success. And honestly, I feel like the latest kind of change that you made to your lifestyle has probably been the biggest game changer in terms of like your perspective and just terms of your trajectory in general. And that's been moving from the East Bay to San Francisco. And San Francisco, if you guys don't know, this is a place where it's like the major players in finance, crypto, technology, it's all out here. And if you want to bust some moves, or you want to be around people busting some moves so you guys can get that type of energy, this is a perfect place to do it. Right. And first off, can you tell me like why the move to San Francisco?
Man, it's really like 3 reasons why. Actually, you were one of the reasons, but it might be 4 reasons actually. First reason is because I've been in the East Bay all my life, and coming back home from prison, you know, I was back in the East Bay in a different city that I hadn't lived in before, Berkeley, but I still have been in Berkeley all my life. And I feel like first couple years home from prison, I was kind of doing my thing. The trajectory was you know, it was real good, and but I feel like I got kind of stagnant, and I think I got stagnant because the environment was just way too familiar. Berkeley was kind of slow paced. I kind of didn't want to be in the Bay Area anymore, and I was thinking about, you know, looking out of state. But then again, I was involved in this industry, being a construction inspector. I kind of didn't want to leave because, you know, the money was getting better. So I said, man, I should stay out here in the Bay Area. But for me, the only place that I felt like I could go in the Bay Area and feel like I was somewhere new was San Francisco, because I never really hung out in San Francisco on there much. And what really turned me on to even looking at San Francisco as a place to, you know, reside and live live at with my girlfriend, was the fact that, for one, when John came out to the Bay Area, we were looking for calisthenics parks, and he was just so turned on by San Francisco. He just kept emphasizing like San Francisco was the only place I want to be in the Bay Area. And then on top of that, I have a good friend now. You know, I actually just met him recently through another good friend, but he's a lawyer and he's out here in San Francisco. So being able to hang around him, because he's the only only friend I have really that, actually no, I know other guys that lived in San Francisco, but he's the only one I ever hung out with and lived the type of lifestyle that I could see myself living. And, you know, so hanging out with him in San Francisco and seeing that lifestyle, I was like, oh, okay. So, you know, this is what San Francisco is all about. And the third thing that really turned me on, and I think we talked about this in another video, was the San Francisco Marathon. I had came out here to basically just record the two friends I'm talking about. They were both running the marathon. Came out to just record them. And marathon started probably like 5 or 6 a.m. But it was like 20,000 people out in the streets. And the feeling was just electric. And the thing that really got me was that, you know, one of my friends I said was a lawyer. The other one is an assistant superintendent. So, you know, they both have they have careers, you know, and not just any career, you know, they both work a lot. And so, and I was looking at everybody else out there, I was like, wow, you know, like these are all really high achievers out here. I'm pretty sure there's a lot of other people who are lawyers, doctors, whatever the case may be, in all different types of fields, but they still found the time to train and run a 26-mile race. And me having picked up running and gotten a little bit more serious about it, I start to realize like running, you know, it's a real grind. You have to do it pretty much 4 or 5 days a week to run at that level. It's a lot of recovery. It's just a lot of things that goes into it. So I respected every single person that was out there. And to me, I just said, you know, there's so many high achievers out here. I need to feel this energy. I need to be a part of this energy, because I feel like that's what I was missing in Berkeley. Not to say there's no high achievers at Berkeley. You know, I stay right near UC Berkeley campus and everything. Yeah, so
it's a different vibe.
It's a different vibe. So San Francisco, to me, I was just like, I need to be around that energy. I felt like it would motivate me to just, you know, I always say get to the next level. I felt like I needed a new environment in order to do so.
And what do you think, like, that energy, because to me that's the difference in terms of environments, in my opinion. So talk about the kind of motivation that you get when you're hanging around people who bring that type of energy, because, you know, we always say iron sharpens iron, steel sharpens steel.
Yeah.
And for me, you know, for instance, when I hang around you, when I hang around James, when I hang around, you know, people who are performing at high levels in different areas, maybe when I'm around you when it comes to running, just like we went for a run the other day and it just brought the competitive nature out of me. You know what I mean? And, you know, G is more seasoned and has a little bit more kind of technique when it comes down to the running in me. And, you know, when I hang out with James is strong as an ox, you know what I mean? So it just pushes me to kind of perform at a higher level. And then when you get into an environment like San Francisco, not only is it people running marathons, but it's people in the tech industry making moves. You meeting entrepreneurs out here. You know, your boy Ryan is a lawyer. You know, you meeting all different types of people who are busting different moves, and all they can do is be inspirational and help push us to get to the next level. And just like G said, something else that I kind of want to touch on is the fact that he said that he was stagnant in the East Bay, and then as soon as he busted that move, which is uncomfortable, because I remember when you was making that move, you were hitting me and you were like, man, you I don't really, you were just talking about the price difference because it costs more money to live in San Francisco. But the thing about it is like, this is actually something that I kind of want to touch on as well, that we were talking about. You got to pay to create, as we say, you know what I mean? But you got to pay for quality, or you got to pay for that lifestyle. And the thing about it is, you're going to end up making that money back on the back end anyways, just because of, number one, it's going to propel you forward to success, and on top of that, the type of connections and the convenience that you have from living in San Francisco. You buying your time back. You live close. You work in San Francisco. You know what I mean? And let's chop it up about that, because that kind of ties back into the workout that we just did at this gym that you just signed up at. G was going to a different gym, and then we chopped it up about getting a membership at a local smaller gym, even if it costs a little bit more, because
you're buying your time back. And I want to answer the previous question you had asked too about just hanging out with people in San Francisco. And I want to mention this because this is important to me, but hanging around people, like I say, high achievers, the biggest thing for me is picking up on habits. You start to talk to people and you start to see what they do day in and day out. And you're like, oh, okay, so you just start to put pieces together. It's like, okay, this dude is up at 5 a.m. every day. Or, oh, he ends his day at 8. He reads for an hour every night before he goes to sleep. Or just these little things, just, and sometimes it's just time hacks, but all these little things that different people do, you start to pick up on that. And for me, when you got so many high achievers around, you're constantly getting little bits of nuggets like, oh, okay, like that's something I can implement in order to, make me more productive, or whatever the case may be. But for your second question, I think one of the biggest things that moving to San Francisco has allowed me to do is what John said, just buy a lot of my time back. Because now I'm significantly closer to work, so I'm probably saving 2 hours of commute time just by being out here. And that won't last forever. This project's going to end. They're going to put me somewhere else. But for right now, I have 2 hours a day that I've gotten back. And the way I look at that is that the rent here in San Francisco is $250 more than what I was paying in Berkeley. And there might be some other little hidden fees. There's little things in San Francisco that cost more. But it's just in terms of rent, it's $250 more. So when we look at it like that, I'm getting 2 hours a day back, from at least a work day back. On my work day, I'm getting 2 hours back. So if you add that up, it's 5 days a week. That's 10 hours a month, 40 hours, or 10 hours a week, 40 hours a month for a little cost of $250. And for me, it's a no-brainer that 40 hours worth of time is worth $250. And also,
that's not even $10 an hour.
That's not even $10 an hour. So just thinking about that, it had me thinking. I was like, wow. I actually need to buy my time back in every way possible. Like forget about making little purchases just to have things that doesn't really serve any purpose or doesn't add any convenience on my life.
All that material shit.
Exactly. So for example, with this gym we just went to today, it's literally 7 blocks from my house. The gym I was going to previously, it's about a 20-minute drive from where I am now. And it's $30 a month. It was cheap, and it was a decent gym too. You could do whatever you need to do in there, but that's 40 minutes, to get there and get back. And I found this gym that was 7 blocks from me, and it was $100 a month. So I was like, okay, well, that's $70 more I'll be spending, but I go to the gym at least 3 to 4 days a week. So if you 40 minutes times 3, that's an hour 20. That's at least 2 hours. Let's just say 2 hours. So 2 hours a week I'm spending commuting to the gym. That's 8 hours a month. So the way I looked at it is an additional $70 worth 80 hours in return. And what is that? 10? That's still around $10 an hour.
That's less than 10.
Like less than 10. Whatever it is.
Whatever it is worth it. Because at the end of the day, you buying your time back, and that's our most valuable asset is time.
Exactly. So just this move to San Francisco, I've gained like at least 3 hours a day back, or close to that. And so now that's not everything, just having 3 hours a day back. You actually have to find a way to be productive with those 3 hours, because I could get those 3 hours and just sleep more, watch more TV.
And to be honest with you, sleeping more is productive.
Yeah,
to be honest with you, because that goes into recovery it goes into you being more sharp.
Yeah, that's true.
Every single day when you working, or you know,
Yeah.
maybe when you training or whatever it may be, or studying.
Yeah.
So to me, that's not a bad use of your time either.
It's
That's
not.
Sleep is like one of those underrated things. It's like people look at it as a taboo, but in all reality, it's something that's extremely necessary.
Yeah.
I think people, this grind culture has kind of created it as like sleep is like this naughty word that we shouldn't be talking about, and resting and recovering is something that shouldn't be talking about. But at the end of the day, for me, if I sleep 8 hours and let's say I only work 3-4 hours the next day, my 3-4 hours that I work that next day, or my training or whatever it may be, is going to be way better than the next person who maybe works a 12-hour shift or works 12 hours doing the same thing
on 4
or 5 hours of sleep. You know what I mean? So it makes a huge difference.
Yeah. And the biggest thing for me now is like having this time. It's easy to have that time and fuck it off, to be honest. So I'm realizing now, it's like, okay, now that I have this time, like stay productive, stay efficient, find ways to get things done. Because just like John said, you know, if you can, you know, be productive, be efficient with that time, it's gonna pay you on the back end. You know, so. Yeah, that's kind of been my story with that.
And another thing I kind of wanted to touch on before I forget about it is like just how you were saying, you know, you are being around all these high performers out here in San Francisco, and you just picking up on their habits, and you picking up on some of the things that they do. And for those of you guys who are watching this channel, I think that's one of the reasons why you tap into this channel, is that you're trying to find some type of habits, whether that be calisthenics, workouts, diet, mindset, whatever it may be. And for me, how I even learned as much as I've learned in terms of, you know, athletic performance or calisthenics or diet or whatever it may be, is just observing. And I would look at people who are in a position that I want to be in. Or I would look at people who might have been built the way I don't want. I'm like, man, this dude's built up. I need to see what type of workouts is he doing? What type of diet is he doing? Or I'll, you know, watch YouTube just like you guys are doing right now, and check out people who are performing at a super high level in calisthenics or doing movements that I wanted to do. And I just start taking notes and imitating some of the things that they do in their workouts. And I start applying it to my own workouts as well. What I call, me and G call, you know, adding tools to your tool belt. And this is the same thing that you can apply this in any other aspect of your life. So if you go to San Francisco or whatever the area is close to where you live, maybe you live in New Jersey, and it's time to move to the big leagues and go move to New York and be in a certain area that you know has a little bit more affluence, a little bit more prestige, people busting moves. And, you know, you might pay a little bit more on the front end, but on the back end, you're going to gain knowledge, you're going to add more tools to your tool belt, and you're going to be more proficient at whatever your craft is. And at the end of the day, that only can lead to monetizing. It can only lead to making more money monetarily. And I actually want to ask you a question, touching on the monetary, you know, on the monetizing in the finance aspect of things. Is like, for myself, I've noticed that I've had a big shift in terms of what I'm looking for in life. Whether that, you mentioned something about like not spending money on little bullshit material items. But for me, I've kind of been looking at it more so like the money and the material shit and the superficial shit is really, it's cool. And you know, there's a time and a place for it. But at the end of the day, for me personally, one of the ways that I've grown over the past, I would say even maybe over the past year and a half, because that's about the time I've been traveling and kind of figuring out where I want to be, is that I'm searching for a lifestyle more than I am searching for a place where I can make the most money. Like what